Welcome back, everybody. This is Everett Chung with Iris Diecast, and today I'd like to review this 2018 Hyundai Genesis by Minikraft models. Our foreign viewers might not be familiar with this model. After all, you don't see all that many Korean model cars outside Korea. This is made by a Korean diecast car company called Minikraft Models. They specialize in making large-size Korean sedans. I've reviewed their Ecos as well, so check the link in the description section if you'd like to check out some more Korean luxury cars. Before we get started with the review, I'd like to clear up some of the confusion surrounding the Genesis. If you've known the Genesis for a while, you'll probably remember the name as a car model. It was positioned between the Hyundai Azera and the Ecos in foreign markets, and mainly rival cars like the Lexus GS, the BMW 5 Series, and the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Now, if you look up Genesis, it's a luxury car brand, with their lineup named as the G90, G80, G70, G380, and so on. So originally, when the first generation Genesis, the BH, was launched in 2008, it was a name of a car model, and the earlier second generation models like this one was also sold as the Hyundai Genesis up to 2016. Now, one of Hyundai's main concerns back in early 2010s was that their flagship luxury models like the Genesis and the Ecos lacked brand value to rival premium cars like Mercedes, BMW, or Lexus. After all, Hyundais were mostly known for cheaper cars than its Japanese competitors, and not too many people were willing to pay over 50 grand for a luxurious version of a budget car. So Hyundai decided to market the luxury cars in a new premium brand and separate the everyday cars from the luxury ones. So in 2016, Hyundai launched Genesis as a new premium brand, and the original Hyundai Genesis was renamed Genesis G80 with a mild facelift. So it's kind of like the relationship between Toyota and Lexus, Ford and Lincoln, and like that. So it may seem odd that they used the brand Genesis as their luxury brand when the name Ecos was their flagship, but the Ecos wasn't very popular in foreign markets while the Genesis was successful. So Hyundai chose the Genesis brand over the Ecos brand, although they weren't very sure until the last minute, and test meals with the Ecos logos appeared up to 2015. One fun fact about Korean car culture is that size is proportional to luxury. So in the US, you see some large cars that are not luxurious at all. The Ford Taurus, the Chevy Impala, they're everyday cars. And in Europe, you see some plush small cars, but not in Korea. Small cars are deprived of any luxury features with cheap materials, and the cars get plusher and more loaded with various options as they get bigger. So there was no Korean car that correlates with the BMW 3 Series, because cars of that size could just not be luxurious. It was commonly believed that there just wasn't any reason for smaller cars to be more expensive than bigger ones. However, the emergence of the Genesis brand is starting to shake that. Genesis had launched the smaller G70 and the GV70, which are more expensive than larger Hyundai counterparts. The second generation Hyundai Genesis was a turning point for Korean luxury cars. It dominated the domestic market and was quite successful in the US too, providing quality cars at a cheaper price than its competitors. The Genesis was highly praised for its design. Even when you look at it now, it does look pretty sweet for a car launched in late 2013. It's not like the earlier Hyundai fluid sculpture cars from that era with the fancy lines and curves. Rather, it's more harmonious and concise. The design was supervised by Peter Schreier, who designed many iconic cars from the Volkswagen Group. So you do see a little bit of a Audi DNA on the iconic crest grille of the Genesis. The headlamps are pretty well detailed. They've painted the white LED lines, and they've made the bulbs as well. And the finish quality is not very good. As you can see, the white LED lines are a little bit crooked, if you can get a look at that. And it's not perfectly straight. The radiator grills are all open, so you can see inside there. And the edges are painted in this light color, just like the real car. There's no chrome or whatsoever. It gives the car a very refined and controlled look. They've also expressed the front camera and the sensor for the safety equipment as well. The front logo is an emblem part. Normally you do get the Genesis logo details on there, but mine has just worn off. The fog lamps are done beautifully. Of course, it's in a plastic clear part, and I love the chrome, the chrome edges around it, and down here they are finished really nicely. And I love how it's really thin, as you can see. You can press the button down here to open the trunk. The car does come with gas lifts, but they're not doing a very good job of holding the hood up. As you can see, it's got a little bit loose on mine. The engine is in a single piece, but they carved it out a little to give it some depth. The detail on the hood cover is very good, as you can see with the texture expression and the V6 and the Hyundai logo. The Hyundai Genesis comes with a 3.3-liter Lambda V6 and a 3.8-liter Lambda V6 for Korean markets. And the cars exported to North America come with a 3.8-liter Lambda V6 and a 5.0-liter Tau V8. That's also available in the ECAS. The later G80s were also available in a 2.2-liter turbo diesel M94 and a 3.3-liter turbo twin turbo V6. The second generation Genesis is actually lower in both power and gas mileage than its predecessor. That's because the second generation Genesis has greatly increased the number of safety and luxury features than its predecessor, so the car got very heavy. In fact, it's heavier than larger cars like the Cadillac CT6 Turbo or the Jaguar XJ Supercharged. And as for the performance, they enhanced the lower and mid-speed torque acceleration performance, so it's actually more balanced and swifter in everyday driving, because after all, this car is mostly used for people like executives and doctors and lawyers. It's not a sports car, so. And here is the side of the vehicle. The car comes with a couple of fun features. First of all, it has the folding side mirrors feature, and you can also open the gas cap on the back. The overall proportion is very good. They've also used clear parts for the side indicators on the side mirrors. That's pretty sweet. And the car uses chrome for the window edges and the trim down here. And here are the rims. The 3.3 models use a 18-inch rims, and the 3.8 models use 19-inch rims. This one is the 3.8-liter model. The rims itself are pretty nicely made. They have a soft glow to it. It's pretty neat. They've even expressed the wheel bolts and the Genesis logo in the center. You do have the disc brakes and the brake calipers in the back. They are well detailed, but they instantly give away that they're plastic. There isn't any metallic feeling to it. And here is the interior. The doors have a nice opening angle, and it opens inward like most modern cars. The interior comes with a couple of fun features. First of all, the front row seats can be moved. They are adjustable, just like the real car, like that. The overall interior detail is just moderate. It's not really good, but it's not that bad either. I mean, they did pay attention to the small buttons, like the window switches on the door panel, but the wood trim looks nothing like the wood trim. It kind of looks like chocolate chips. It doesn't look like wood. And they just painted the door handles instead of using a clear part for it. The floors do have carpet material on them, and the seats are well made, actually. As you can see, if you look closely, they've even expressed the texture difference between the center and the edges, and they've even painted the seat control panels over here for the power seats. The steering wheel is well made. They've got the sticker for the Genesis logo in the center, and they painted the little remote buttons. And personally, the air vents weren't too satisfactory in my opinion. They've looked too they've kind of give away instant that they're just painted on. And here is the passenger side, and of course the passenger seats are adjustable also. And you can also open the glove box on the car, although mine got loose and it won't stay shut. Taking a look at the center control panel, everything is neatly painted. I especially loved how they put a small shiny sticker on the clock in the center to give it some emphasis. Being a smaller model, it doesn't really capture the premium deluxe look of the real counterpart's cabin, but nonetheless, everything is neatly organized. And here is the rear cabin, and as you can tell, the rear is pretty spacious. The car comes with plenty of legroom, and being a 3.8 liter top of the line trim level, this car comes with some pretty fancy luxury features like the rear monitor and the multifunctional remote on the center. And the speaking of which, the armrest can be folded up, which is another fun feature in the interior. And here is the roof. The model comes with a full panoramic sunroof, so that you can get a look at the interior from above. However, the plastic used here is not all that clear. It's very murky with kind of a greenish feeling to it, so it kind of looks bad. And here is the rear. Some people didn't like the rear design because it looked pretty similar to the smaller Elantra or Avante in Korean markets. I do have to admit, compared to the front, it doesn't really have the grandeur nor the elegance. Everything from the Genesis logo to the model naming is on an emblem part. They've expressed the heated windows up here, and they've used clear plastic parts for the reflectors down there, and the exhausts are finished beautifully in chrome. While they definitely did put a lot of effort into the rear lamp, I wasn't very satisfied with the way they handled the pegs. The pegs are right over here next to the edge between the body and the trunk. And what's the problem with that is that it looks like there's a really big gap between the trunk and the body. So I'm not really happy with it. You can open the trunk, and the trunk is finished in this carpet material. And of course you can open the flap, to get a look inside the spare tire down there. And of course, the spare tire is rubber. And here is the undercarriage. It's moderately detailed. The car uses a metal base instead of the commonly used plastic base, so this thing weighs a ton. Anyways, that concludes my review on the 2018 Minikraft Hyundai Genesis. Minikraft made several versions of the Genesis sedan. You have the G380 like this one, and there's also the lower trim G330 with the 18-inch rims. They've also made the facelift G80 and the G80 Sport with the twin turbo engine. Like many Korean diecast models, there are several Genesis models for sale on eBay, so if you're interested, I think this car will make a pretty unique addition to the collection. What I liked about this model was the various exterior and interior features and opening parts and a good looking exterior. However, I do think that it is a bit overpriced for its quality. While the finish is definitely better than Chinese brand models, it's not really comparable with Auto Art, and the interior quality was a bit lackluster. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, do click like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon in a future video. Thank you.